Greg Carrie went to Peterborough Cathedral on Saturday, the 25th of November, 2023, and we did a video. We it was new to us. So we got a lot of stuff right by accident, and it turned out to be far more symbolic than we anticipated. Now we put it up on Monday night. Tuesday night, King David rang, and he'd just been seconded again for another test to see if he is King David. The first test was 7 days, and this latest test was 10 days. And during that time, none of his calls got through to me, which is kind of typical. And his seconder, the intermediary, I sent her a text, and her text didn't get to me either. So there was like a ban, right? So he made a whole lot of suggestions, and I wrote them up in my fashion, which looks something like a complete, utter, and total mess. So I can't even find it. It looks like that.
Okay.
Bad doctor.
I was gonna say, you look like you should be a physician.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So I couldn't read it after a day anyway. So I typed it up today, and I've got it in relative order. And what I want to do is show the video, which was the points that he was marking out, and show what he said. And I'll just read the intro word for word. It's about 6 pages.
Perfect.
But it's clarifying, right? So, okay, this is part of the Lord of the Riddle Marks. Joseph Gregory Hallett deciphered Walter Raleigh, Shakespeare, and much of the Bible. There are 2 kings. Theoden king is the Odin king. That's why king is a suffix here.
I missed that first part. What did you say? The
Theoden king in the Lord of the Rings. Theoden king. He's not called King Theoden. He's called Theoden king. That means the Odin king.
Right.
And he was about 6 foot, and he's about my age, and he had a goatee.
You know, I'm probably the only person on the planet that never watched Lord of the Rings all the way through. It scared the shit out of me. It was too close to home. I was like, yeah, okay, I'm out of here. I didn't want to watch it. So.
Well, yeah, it is really close to home, because where the proposed King David, who's passed 2 of the tests, we returned the rings, his rings, I was his accomplice, to Rosslyn Chapel, which was the fulfillment of Lord of the Rings.
Wow.
Right. So we did that on the 15th of June, 2023, which was Magna Carta Day, but Magna Carta no longer exists, never existed. So it's no longer Magna Carta Day. It was just the hottest day in the summer. It was the hottest day. It was really hot. It was so hot that the top of the cathedral blew off in the photographs. Like, the light was so strong that when you photographed it with the sun behind it, it eroded the roof. So the ceiling blew off. Yeah. Okay. Now I've got a couple of notes in the beginning, and they'll relate later on, and some of them's just the key pieces to help us with our understanding. 666 is the number of the family.
What family?
Right? So that's why they wanted to demonize the family, so they demonized the number 666. Right? FYI, for your information.
So 666 isn't the devil?
No. So I've got a few corrections on this. That's why I wanted to sort of read them out. King David has been away getting tested by the high orders. King David was away 7 days, Friday 17th to Thursday the 23rd of November 2023, in England at a point of power. In this, he had to lift a heavy object. He's the only one who's been able to lift it. I imagine this is a 500-pound round, rough-hewn stone ball, but this detail wasn't confirmed. Wouldn't confirm what it was. Now, King David was away again for 10 days getting tested, this time by the Knights Templar, and he gave him permission to say which group was testing him. From Saturday, the 2nd of December to midday Tuesday, the 12th of December, 2023, which was yesterday midday. Now, this was at a point of great magnetism. So it was in England at a point of great magnetism. And then he said the energy is being cleared. Now, his 3 return to me calls to me had failed to get through, and he was just getting a no number signal. Even the intermediary calls to me failed to get through. Now, when I was leaving New Zealand, I was at a party with a friend, and he said, like, this is my psychic, I trust it completely. And she said to me, you're going overseas here, your phone will never ring. That's what she said. Amazing. And that was 2011. So he
May I
called me.
say something there, though? Can I add something to that? Do you
Yeah.
remember when we first were doing the Zoom call, and I tried calling you through Skype, and I couldn't get through because your phone number changed. It was just letters. And so
Right.
for 2-3 days, and that was just probably while he was being tested, I couldn't get through to you as well because the phone had actually changed.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's different. It's the same phone now, but he
Mhm.
just couldn't get through.
Mhm.
So I haven't changed my number for about, I don't know, 3 years.
Mhm.
So he called me at 10 p.m. last night, Tuesday, 12th of December, and we spoke for 1 hour, 44 minutes. In between these two tests by the High Orders to see if this is the real King David, and so far he's passed the 7-day test and he's passed the 10-day test. So in between that was Thursday, the 23rd of November to Saturday, the 2nd of December, which is basically a week. During this time, on Saturday, the 25th of November, I, Joseph Greg Carrie, went to Peterborough Cathedral and met Carrie Cohen there, which is you. The resulting Peterborough Cathedral video was uploaded on Monday, the 11th of December, 5 p.m., which is 2 days ago. So as soon as he finished his 10 days being tested as King David, he watched this video on Tuesday, the 12th of December, and wanted to clarify, make some corrections, and add some insights.
Yep.
These are listed here. The word whore comes from flowers, spelt like flowers, but flowers, who were secondary women of the lineage. When, for example, the dragon queen's blood dried up, old, one of these flowers would take her place. French for flowers sounds very close to the English whore, right?
Mhm.
So a whore is a backup blood to the true lineage, right? So Mary Magdalene was a whore. She was backup blood to the true lineage.
Exactly.
Okay. So I think it's the first time this has ever been stated. I think no one's ever got it right before. This is superior meaning to whore, which was previously taken to mean any woman with grey hair, which was my faux pas. So I copied someone else off that, did my research on it, and now any woman, whore being any woman with grey hair, is superseded by the women who are flowers, who are secondary in the blood lineage and are still fertile. As we go along, the meanings of words are improved. Q turned up 3 times on that day that we went to Peterborough Cathedral on Saturday, 25th of November, 2023. Once in the Peterborough Mall and twice in Tetbury. And I wonder if I can share a screen with that. Well, we've seen that, haven't we?
Mhm.
Yeah. And the only shot we could see from lunch at the Snooty Fox, in the shot, Q was in the window and Q was the painting. So it was painted on the window, big Q on the window in gold, and the painting behind it said Q in blue. So we've got 3Q.
Mirrored. Mm.
And then Q, someone said to me, Q was actually predicted in the Bible. So when we're actually doing fulfilling Bible prophecy, which is all laid out by the seers, who are fantastic. They're absolutely brilliant on how they codify things and how close they are. So in the Peterborough Cathedral Chancellery, between Canon 11 and Canon 13 was the vine lineage. So now I'm going to go to share screen.
Yep.
Share screen, desktop 1. Right, okay, share, try that. Right, and now I'm going to do that. Can you see my screen?
Sure can.
Fantastic. Means you can't see me. You can't see, oh, you can see me in the top
I
right.
can see
right.
you in the side. Yeah.
Right, okay. So let me see if we've got, yeah, I'm at the right place. So then the Peterborough Cathedral, then at the Peterborough Cathedral, so Q, so there's Q 3 times, right?
Yes.
So we saw it in the shopping mall and we saw it in the restaurant. Where is that?
In the window.
See if we can find it. We saw it in the shopping mall, saw it in the restaurant.
Yeah.
And
No. It was about halfway.
was it about halfway, was it?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. So Q means Osiris, as in Osiris rising, right? So when they do stuff like that's the symbol for Osiris rising, yeah. So so Q is Osiris, which is shown by the forearms crossed diagonally across the chest, as per Egyptian regalia as well. So there were 3 Q on that day, Saturday, 23rd November 2023. Osiris rising is
25,
really,
December 25.
yeah, November 25.
Or, yeah.
Saturday, 25th November, yeah. Okay, then at Peterborough Cathedral, there were 3 Chinese Qigong dancers. You got them about here, haven't you?
No, it was a long ways down where you were there.
Yeah,
Okay.
there.
And we have it at the end as well.
Yeah. Okay, so there's 3 Qigong dancers there, and they're wearing white, tie-dyed down to blue, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that symbolizes heaven meets earth. Yeah. So then there were 3 Chinese Qigong tie-dyed white down to blue costume, representing the joining of heaven and earth. That's what it represents.
So is that the mountain in the valley?
Oh, yes. Or the joining of heaven and earth, as was previously shown on the 5th of November at Guy Fawkes with the Aurora Borealis in Norfolk, Suffolk, and Sussex.
But I also thought that there was something with the ceremonies. What King David was involved with was the dress code was white top with blue bottoms, correct?
That was the female Orders of the Eastern Star.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the representing the joining of heaven and earth was completed with the 3 clacking fans. So when they danced, they slapped it like that. When they just open their fans like that, that makes a huge clacking sound.
Yep.
Yeah. Right. So that's the huge clacking sound there.
Yep. It was loud.
Yeah, very loud.
They'd actually jump up and land down and open the fan. It was a double click.
So what better way to show joining of heaven and earth than the sun rising or the sun setting, isn't it? Which is what those red fans are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Now, in the Peterborough Cathedral chancery between Canon 11 and Canon 13 was the vine lineage. Here we go. Here.
Mm-hmm.
I'll play that. And that's the south light coming in. Yeah.
Yes.
And the fact that we got the south light actually coming in and hitting that exact spot is amazing.
Isn't it?
Now, the 6-pointed star is the Star of Solomon, not the Star of David. The 6-pointed star is the Star of Solomon, and the 5-pointed star is the Star of David. Right? So that there is the 5-pointed star there. I don't know if you can see my mouse.
Yep.
And then that G, right, it was known as Masonic compass, but the G means generative principle, which means this is an idea so strong that things emanate from it. Yeah. And the other symbol next to it actually means the 7 planets of our solar system, the 7 orthodox planets, I think it was. And then when you look here next to it, and what could be number 12, that there on the right of the screen,
Mm-hmm.
that actually represents the vine lineage.
Yeah.
Right. As in the rose line, hence the roses.
It is a Rose, isn't it? And my daughter's middle name is Rose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The name of the rose. Okay, now hopefully we'll go to the right. Yeah, this is your camera work, so well done.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so here we've got Canon 13, right? And it says Mea Virtue, me in Volvo, which I had translated somewhere, but it means in my own strength. Right? I
So-
find strength in strength.
I never really looked at the crest up above, and it looks like
Yeah.
David on a crest, but or on a shield, but it looks like 4 crescent moons or 4
Yeah,
with
we
full
didn't
moon
actually
in the center, right?
yeah, we didn't actually discuss those, what those armorial bearings are, but above it is a cross between it's a fleur-de-lis vine lineage. We
Look
didn't
at
discuss that
that.
either, but it looks like a fleur-de-lis vine lineage. And above that, what?
Wow, look at that. Yeah, it's right in front of us. And
Yeah,
that
yeah.
ties into the rose vine.
Well, above
1
that
and
is
12.
a woman holding a star. So that represents Venus, which represents the goddess. And she's holding a star pointing to the rose, which represents the rose line.
There it is.
And then she's pointing back to Canon 11 here, which is the Star of David, the generative principle, and the 7 orthodox planets of our solar system.
And
Right?
is that a broom that is on the seven stars? Looks like a broom or a bell. It might
No,
be
it's a bell. It's a bell.
Yeah,
It's a
ringing the
bell.
bell.
Yeah,
So
but
it's
that also relates. I said, oh, that relates to Mont Saint Michel, and he goes, yeah. King David goes, yeah, my ancestor built that.
wow,
Right. So Mont Saint Michel's amazing. It actually ties me in with that as well.
wow.
So I'll just read the text so I don't miss anything.
Okay.
Canon 13, Peterborough Chancery between Canon 11 and Canon 30 is the vine lineage. So that's that there on the left hand of the screen at the moment, right? And that's where I said, that's me on the unnamed one.
Right.
And he said, wow, you just got that exactly right.
Yeah.
And the sun was shining on it, and I just walked into that spot and said, this is me, the unnamed one. And apparently that's quite accurate.
Yeah.
So
It'd be interesting to see what time you stepped into there, because the light was coming down. It was coming through the window and it lit it up like a spotlight. And you walked right into the center and said, you know,
yeah, that's me on the unnamed one.
mhm.
So, and that would have been, I think, judging by the angle of the sunlight,
4 o'clock.
because it faces away from us, faces directly south, right? And there appears to be shadow on the right hand side of the object, so it's just after midday. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it wasn't that late,
1
was
o'clock?
it? Yeah, 1 o'clock. Yeah, it was
Oh,
around 1.
yeah.
Maybe noon even.
Okay, so Canon 13 shows Venus, which represents the goddess, pointing to the star next to the rose, as in the rose line is the star. Right? So that's what she's saying there.
Wow.
This pointed back to Canon 11, which has 5-pointed Star of David, then the Masonic compass with G for generative principle, then the 7-pointed star to represent the 7 traditional planets. This also alluded to Mont Saint Michel, which is basically a carved rocket ship and built by King David's ancestor. This is exemplified by Roslin Chapel, which was built for King David to decipher. I went with King David to Roslin Chapel, bought his ticket in, and he deciphered Roslin Chapel on the spot. It was really fantastic to watch. It was really one of those moments. It was his first time there. He revealed the sculptures on the wall in the Ladies' Chapel, matched the markings on the wall, and this immediately became the pattern of the Schumann residence.
Wow.
Yeah. So the Schumann residence we checked on that day had the same pattern as on the wall and the sculptures on the wall, which he simultaneously deciphered. He's quite bright. He speaks Mandarin as well, so kind of he was giving me the names of the dancers, which I'll tell you in a minute.
Okay.
So Roslin Chapel, this was on the 15th of June 2023, the hottest day in Scotland. Some would call it Magna Carta Day, but the Magna Carta never existed. So King David, with me accompanying, returned the 2 rings to Roslin Chapel as per the Lord of the Rings. Yeah, he had got the 2 rings together and he had one on each hand. and he marched in with them and deciphered everything. But the markings on his ring matched the markings on the floor under the cathedral in Peterborough Cathedral, where I stood and read from the passages marked out in the Bible for that day and for this scenario.
Wow.
Yeah, so here,
Where we get to, I focused in on the floor.
yeah.
Hmm.
Who's that? Who's that? Who's that? Who's that? There.
Right
Oh,
there.
there it is. There.
There.
Come on, show yourself.
It's just before there.
Is it?
Yeah.
I shouldn't have touched anything, should I? There.
Yeah. What was after?
There we are.
Yeah.
Okay, so that pattern on the floor.
Yep.
Oh, there it is there. I've got a good solid look at the floor.
I must say that when I took the video of those 4 lions, I actually questioned myself. I was like, why am I doing this? And
Yeah.
especially, I took such a quick photo and I thought it was a really crappy, capture, but I knew that it still had to be in there.
Oh, there we are. There it is there. Well, there. See that pattern there?
Yes.
On the floor, which is just in the chancery. You see it?
Yes.
That's the pattern on his ring,
Hmm.
which got the entry to Roslyn Chapel. So, in between him being tested for 7 days as King David and tested for 10 days as King David, and that's 7, 8, or 9 days in between, I just happened to go to a cathedral that had all the markings for everything that was going on, and the chancery floor has the same pattern as on his ring.
Beautiful.
So Peterborough Cathedral is linked to Roslyn Chapel, to the rings, to the Lord of the Rings scenario. Right? Wow.
So where is Roslyn Chapel located?
About 15 minutes drive south of Edinburgh.
Oh, really? Okay.
5 minutes,
So I guess we're going there next, yeah?
Maybe, yeah. So these markings on his ring match the floor under the cathedral in Peterborough. The cathedral is the stand. It's where was I standing on the thing? That thing there. Whoops, what happened?
Right there.
Showing there. That, right? That's no, those are the pews actually. But see, these heads of the pews there, these leaning posts there, are actually fleur-de-lis.
Are they really?
Which marks the royal. Where is it? I'm just trying to. I should have taken screen captures there. It's
yeah, that was the stock photo of that one.
Right, here we go. There's a really good capture of the floor there.
Yeah. Oh, look at the fleur-de-lis. Yeah, you can see it.
Right, you saw it?
You can see it, right-hand side. Oh, go back.
Yeah.
Okay, in a second. Keep going.
So there's the floor. There's the floor.
Okay, keep going, keep going.
Yeah. See the fleur-de-lis around here?
Right there. Yeah, go a bit closer. You get a better shot of it if you go a bit closer. There, stop.
It's right on the right-hand side of the screen.
Yep, there you go.
There's the fleur-de-lis there, kind of slightly phallic fleur-de-lis, but never mind, they're fleur-de-lis, so it marks a royal scenario.
Wow.
So.
And you stood in between them.
Yeah, and said, I'm the nameless one, which is where Canon 12 was. So the markings on King David's ring matched the markings on the floor under the cathedral in Peterborough, which is what we're looking at, where I stood and read from the passages marked out in the Bible for that day and for the scenario. Bilbo Baggins, Gandalf, and Theoden King represent the psyche of the same living man on this journey. Right? Oh, you don't know the Lord of the Rings. Bilbo Baggins, Gandalf, and Theoden King represent the same psyche, the same living man on this journey.
So Gandalf, they shared the same mind. They shared the same mind, but they were 2 separate entities. That's it.
They evolved into each other.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that Gandalf ran the Shin.
Okay.
The secret. Right. And that shows up in the movies as the evil guy was once a good guy. Theoden King was around 6 foot with a goatee in his 60s and a bit washed out. So Greg Hallett.
Oh, you're funny.
And I'm suspecting Frodo Baggins and King Aragorn are the psyche of the same living man on this journey. This is open to correction. It's not mine to claim. J.R.R. Tolkien was an historian writing fiction for the high orders as an analogy of the prophecies of the true bloodline. So J.R.R. Tolkien was actually an historian to the Sinclair family, who owned Roslin Chapel. Okay.
Yeah.
This was partly fulfilled when we returned the rings to Roslin Chapel. I just bought the tickets. The 6-pointed star is the Star of Solomon. The 5-pointed star is the Star of David. These are on his rings, and they're on the floor tiles in the chancery of Peterborough Cathedral. What I'm saying is that I went to Peterborough Cathedral while in between him doing his tests as King David, and the chancery had the same floor markings as on his ring, which matched Roslin Chapel, which matched Lord of the Rings. And then we got rid of the historical fiction Magna Carta. And all that's huge.
It's massive.
Yeah. So Joseph Gregory Hallett went to Peterborough Cathedral, went into the chancery, stood on the cathedra and read the passages in the Bible where it was open and marked by a black ribbon. The title underneath the cathedra and throughout the chancery were of the same tiles as King David's ring, a square surrounded by a square with a square in each corner. This can be interpreted as continuing the return of the rings, which is what we did. This pattern was also the same pattern on the wall in the Lord of the Rings in the chapter of the film about the Tomb of the Kings. Right, so the Lord of the Rings had the Peterborough tile pattern and the real rings pattern, right, in the movie. And film 1 was Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Rings. Film 2 was the Two Towers, and film 3 was the Return of the King. Aha!
The Return of the King.
And it was actually made by Peter Jackson, who was a New Zealander, and Middle Earth was New Zealand. The Hobbits.
Wow.
Hobbitville was New Zealand, centre of the North Island. So the dais, raised platform or cathedra had 4 creatures as handles. So we'll try and find that somewhere. Where was that? Forwards or backwards? This is now this is where I sat, I think. Oh,
you're
no
the
volume.
Canon 12.
No volume.
Suits me. Suits me.
Okay, here we go. Actually say it.
I said, so I'm the nameless one then.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So you said, I'm the nameless.
Oh, yeah, so I said I'm the nameless one there, exactly.
But
And I think there's a time delay with the sound volume there.
But look at how you actually have the 4 pillars around you. It's not just the 2. You
I
have,
do, don't I?
yeah, and it's like the 4 corners of the earth in the Aboriginal faith. You know, it's the 4 corners, right?
Oh, right.
4 directions. Yep. It's the 4 directions.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting because I think you've
and then the light. You have a lamp on both sides. So
yeah, I could have actually done my hair a bit and shaved. Messy bastard.
I tried to tell you. I said your hair's standing up a little bit.
It does. Whenever I get a bit electric, my hair just stands up on end.
Yeah.
But
you've got 4 fleur de lis.
Yeah, I've got 4 fleur de lis, did I?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's the microphone that didn't work on the day.
This one. Well, you're the Canon 12.
Yeah, the nameless one. So no sound.
Suits me. What this? Yeah. The architect is absolutely spectacular. So I've seen your lot of photos. So hopefully you can put them in.
I don't know what that's about. What that sounds about. So here we've got the animals, right?
In front of it.
So the eagle is also the phoenix, which is also the
raven,
Aquarius, the air, and king of the air and king of the sky. Right. So it's like the head marauder.
And at the feet were 4 lions.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get. There's the line there. The line there. Now these are the line. These are the line of Judah.
Any symbol? symbolism there for you? For
Yeah,
lion?
I'll tell you what it is. Turn that volume down. So
Yeah.
Judah is the name of earth, Judah, right? So these are the lions of Judah, which means the lions of the four corners of the earth. They represent the four corners of the earth, right? Like you just said. So the lion is Leo, is earth, is king of the land, king of the earth, and the eagle is the phoenix. Aquarius, air, king of the air, king of the sky. So the lion and the eagle combined are the phoenix. So when you got the lion down the bottom and the phoenix up the top, and the lion down the bottom and the eagle up the top, that means the phoenix.
It could also be because I when I was doing the editing, I thought, is that a raven or is it a eagle? And so I started looking at the beaks and, you know, all the pictures of the different birds. And I thought it could be the phoenix, it could be eagle, but it also could be raven. And raven, in our belief, is the gatekeeper of the black void where all illusion begins. So
Right.
you've got the four corners, right, that are guarding the black void where all illusion begins, and raven is the gatekeeper. It is the one that allows you dreams to come
All
true.
illusion begins or all illusion ends?
Begins, well, probably ends as well, right?
Okay, now the four, there's apparently four beasts around there. I've only got three of them written down: lion, eagle, and the bull.
You have a bull and an angel.
A bull and the angel, was it?
Yes.
Okay, and these angel, and then these four
Corners.
beasts, these four elements there. The beasts are elements, like the lion is earth, and the eagle is the air, and bull is what, fire?
Yeah,
And
could
angel
be.
water.
Yeah, and
Angel
angel.
water, maybe. So the four elements make up the ether, which is the fifth element. So we're talking here, this is a monument to the potential of the fifth element. So the name of earth is Judah, and the carving from canon 11 to canon 15 in the gap is a rose and a vine. We've covered that. And the handrest of the stall is fleur-de-lis, which marks the rose vine lineage. The pews are missing, which could mean clearing the way for the new king. So if we go, I think had it right, here we go. Here, look there. Look at those two people talking. There you go.
Yeah.
So look, no pews.
It was empty. Pewless.
No, right? So
It
there we
really
go.
allowed you to see the architecture much more. You know, there was no distractions. There you go, that one. Oh, I love that, where you're just reaching out, right? Caught that on film. That was awesome.
There you go. What a mildly handsome man.
I agree.
That guy is so average. Right,
With your hair like this. It's a rooster. You were a rooster.
so
Yeah.
the pews were missing, which could have been clearing the way for the new king. Now the Qigong dancers,
Yes.
blue and red, have combined, paying homage, making way for the new king. So that's a bit of a quote. The Qigong dance was to bring in and combine together the heaven and the earth. This is called Tian-di, which is T-I-A-N, new word D-I. So Tian-di means sky earth.
It's like I Ching, right? Where you're bringing the heaven and the earth together, the study of I Ching. Yeah.
But this particular dance is called Tian-di.
Mm.
Joins the heaven and the earth. So the lion is the king of the land, and the eagle is the king of the sky. King David's Chinese zodiac sign is the phoenix. Rose means the rose line, which leads to the Plantagenets and to the Sinclairs. It's a biblical comeback. Point to point, one came from the north and one came from the south to Christmead, right? That's me and David. And Christos means king. Messiah means anointed king. And then he said, Sheloh has returned. I may have misheard the pronunciation. It could be Shiloh. And Charles, this kingdom of lies.
And what was the last bit there?
What we're in now is the kingdom of lies.
Okay,
That's what we're trying to change. Everything's fake.
right.
And we've just found out that Great Britain doesn't exist. It's never legally existed. Because the Act of Union done in 1707 was spelt Great Britain 49 times. Great Britain is one word, but with a capital B 9 times. And Great Britain, as we spell it now, 8 times, which was 5 times rather, which is only 8% of the time. So 92% of the time in the Act of Union 1707, they spelt Great Britain wrong. Right? And so this is the major contract that joined the Kingdom of Scotland and the Kingdom of England to form Great Britain. And it actually never happened. It never legally happened because there was patent ambiguity. Patent ambiguity falls against the Crown. And the Act of Union 1707 was actually done over a gambling debt where the Scottish lords had lost a whole lot of money on the Darien scheme, which was the Panama Canal, but they're trying to take the goods overland, not digging a canal, but to drag all the goods overland. So they lost all the money between sort of 1690 and 1700 and then wanted it back. So they came up with a scheme to sell Scotland to England. And then England, and they agreed, stuffed up the contract. So the Kingdom of Scotland still exists and the Kingdom of England still exists and Great Britain doesn't exist.
Wow.
Right? And so that's why we're in a kingdom of lies.
So how does that apply to Canada or Australia or, you know, the Commonwealth countries?
I might stop sharing screen. You were sharing screen. Stop share. Here I am.
Hey.
So it means that everything that's generated from from the United Kingdom of Great Britain has no legality, like the creation of Israel, creation of the United States of America. And they're trying to put all these countries into global entities controlled by global entities, which are not governments and not for the citizens. And all of it's illegal from the get-go. 1707, when Scotland didn't join England, was after 1767, when the Jesuits did a takeover of North America and called it United States of America. It never was, it never happened, it was never legal. And then the Balfour Agreement and Israel was also never legal.
Wow.
And it was also just just 2 paragraphs on a letter. I don't even think it had a letterhead. And it was just a promise of intent to maybe help to create a state, right? But
wow.
It was never actually a legal ratified document. So we're in a kingdom of lies where everything's a lie, right? And what's happening, what the high orders are doing is testing King David and putting me in scenarios which are supportive and revealing the symbology.
Confirmation. Yeah, it's confirmation.
Yeah, how the truth has been laid out for us to discover and uncover in a series of places and events which could not be organized by myself or faked in any way.
Well, so I think it's interesting that it was the Knights Templar that were testing King David, and it was also the Templar that sent me to Ashtoy.
Yeah.
Where the dead bird was. And that was really the start of seeing so many symbols and unveiling.
What was really interesting about that is the Knights Templar said, oh, you need to go to Ashtoy. And then you go to Ashtoy and it's closed because there's an event. And you go in to ask if you can get permission to go in. And the guy sent you to Ashtoy is actually in Ashtoy Palace saying, okay, you can come in for 5 minutes to take your photographs.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
How organized is that?
It worked out really well, actually. Yeah. Actually, just 1 second. I want to look up some stats. Just 1 second. I'm just going to pause this for a second and look something up, okay? Resume recording. Okay, so I wanted to confirm something because there were two things that happened today in the news that were pretty interesting. One is that 4 banks in Australia declared bankruptcy. Did you hear about that?
Oh,
Yeah, so it's beginning, right? Banking is starting to go down. And the other is the Italian health minister is under investigation for murder, for homicide of the
Good.
masses. They're
Good.
starting to investigate. There was evidence in the emails that prior to the planned thing, that there was knowledge that these were murderous injections.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'd just like to say a couple of things on that. I was the first person in the world to say that the coronavirus had not been characterized.
Characterized in what way?
Characterized as you have to characterize a so-called virus before you can come up with a cure. You have to find out what it is before you can come up with a cure. They never found out what it is. So there's no way you can cure something you don't know what it is. And that's called characterized.
Wow.
So they failed to characterize it. And before that, it was actually called coronavirus, right? Which
Right.
is Latin for we crown him, right? And NHS was code for New Helot Sovereign. So that was all going tickety-boo. And then the Pope abdicated his style and title Vicar of Christ on Easter Friday, well, actually on New Zealand Day 2020, 6th of February. And then in the Vatican Yearbook on the 25th of March 2020. And then on Easter Friday, he abdicated the style and title Vicar of Christ and named Joseph Gregory,
Wow.
which is my name. And then a year later, on New Zealand Day 2021, he named Hallett. So I sent mail to him and he sent it from Rome back to basically Hallett's Cove in New York, which we used to own up until 1861. We owned it for a couple hundred years. So so that was kind of interesting. And then Charles was one of those people really promoting the so-called vaccine of the so-called virus that had never been characterized, right? So he was promoting those mass deaths. And here we are. What have we defined it as? A kingdom of lies.
Kingdom of lies.
Right? Because what all these symbols are symbols taking us back to the original royal blood lineage, which is the rose line, as in the Da Vinci Code, but we're doing it proper here. We're actually doing it proper with the proper rings, doing it for real and being named. And just prior to 2020, Queen Elizabeth married me by proxy in the National Gallery using a Gainsborough painting called Elizabeth. Well, it's actually called Morning Walk, but it was actually of Elizabeth Marys Hallett. And then she got a guy born in coronation year, which is 1953. He would have been about however old he was at the time, 61 or so. And his name was Keith Gregory, as in K. Gregory, as in King Gregory. And he went up to the Gainsborough painting, Elizabeth Marys Hallett, and he scratched it with a drill bit. And drill bit is Dr. Ilbert. Dr. is doctor, as in doctor by Elizabeth, right? And these codes have been happening all the way since I was 5. They started to they had lunch at the Governor General's place, and then he introduced me to King George VI's son. And that meeting actually goes back to the second Balfour Agreement, which was 1925, 15 November. So the whole thing's connected. The whole thing's connected. We're in a kingdom of lies, and we're trying to get rid of that kingdom of lies because we've got a fake royal blood lineage, and we're trying to install the true royal blood lineage. So what's happening is the high orders have tested my friend as King David for 7 days. Just imagine passing a 7-day test on anything. For 7 days. I mean, you get tested for 3 hours, right? And then your brain's popping. Just imagine getting tested for 7 days, right? And that's mental
Yeah.
tests, memory tests, lineage tests, physical tests, right? And then just imagine then you have a week off and then you get tested again by another order for another 10 days. If you pass that, and you got to lift, I imagine it's a rough hewn 500-pound stone. There's only a few people on the planet that can actually do that. And he said, I did it easily. He
It's
likes
also
lifting.
vibration, right? But he is very tall, isn't he? He's quite strong.
Oh
and-
no, he can actually deadlift 700 pounds.
Really?
So yeah, it's like world record
Wow.
stuff. So 500 pounds is it's easy.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I keep feeling we need to go back to the second in line in the blood lineage. So you said Mary Magdalene is most likely the second in line in the blood lineage, right?
yeah. Well, she got referred to as a whore in the Bible, and then it got changed to prostitute, but it actually means flower of the blood lineage.
Right.
She's got royal blood. So there could have been a primary before her, or she could have been secondary to Jesus, or she just could have been called secondary when she was actually primary.
Mhm.
But what she was, and all of her Mary followers, Mary meant priestess of Isis, and Isis was married to Anubis, and Anubis was a bit uncomfortable for the Christians, so they changed it to Osiris. But it was the same dude, right? And Osiris is the green man, which is the green king. Go, okay, so that's great. Let's see sometime soon.
Okay, so when do we actually meet with David?
Keeping you, I don't know, keeping you up to date.
Okay, those were really great insights. I thought they were fabulous. We're still missing a couple though, I feel. Are we?
Probably,
Yeah,
probably. You
it'll
know,
come. It'll come.
but the thing is that it happened on the day, the sun was in the right place, it was highlighting the right things.
It was
And
amazing.
the dancers were there, the pews weren't there, and it was in between him being tested by the high orders. So,
And the fleur-de-lis. You're
and
standing,
I read out from the Bible, and what the Bible said, what the Bible passage actually finished with was, it started with the whore bit, which is the flowers of the true bloodline, and then it said, and King David will appear. It actually said that in the Bible, and he'd been tested 7 days before and another 10 days after. I mean,
Right.
it's just fantastic.
right? Yes. That's actually what I'm feeling that we missed, were the 4 different passages. Did he interpret those 4? He did the one, right, about King David, but the other ones, one was,
He didn't address them. We didn't talk about it.
okay, yeah.
We
Okay.
didn't talk about it.
Because
So,
I think all 4 has something to do, well, they were all related to you.
well, yeah, but what was amazing is it says, a man will buy a woman for 15 shekels of silver, which is actually just code for the number 15, because the number of Q is 17, 17th letter of the alphabet, 17th the number of Portugal, which is Port of the Grail. And we saw 3Q on that day, 3 Qs, and 3 Qs is 51. So you got 15 shekels of silver, 51.
Wow. Wow. Mirrored again. The 2 Qs were a mirror, 15, 51, a mirror.
Oh, it was magical, it was magical. And the
Yeah.
thing about going to a place like that on that day when the energy's happening is you see what you see, and then you also kind of relaxed and laissez-faire about it all. And then when you go back and you look at it and go, hang on a minute, those are fleur-de-lis on the end of the pews. Hang on a minute, that was the vine lineage. Hang on a minute, that was the goddess holding the star pointing to the rose line, pointing to King David, 5-pointed star, pointing to the G generative symbol, which I think might have been the people who just tested him for the 7 days. I'm guessing, I've no idea. And then there's the 7 planets, which points to Mont Saint Michel, which is where I discovered that Mont Saint Michel is entirely built as a rocket ship and a hangar for a rocket ship.
Where
the whole
is
thing,
it?
all rocket ships. And that was my, it's in an island off France, the total island of France. So King David's ancestor built it. I went there and decoded it. And Queen Victoria got married there when she was 33 weeks pregnant.
33. So it's
33
all
weeks.
coming
And
together.
then she set fire to it.
What?
Yeah, Queen Victoria, when she was still a princess, she set fire to Mont Saint Michel on, I think it was the 26th of October, 1834,
Right.
to protest her son being taken off her, who was then taken to Portugal, which is 17, which is Q, and then you start getting,
Away we go. Yep.
and then
Okay.
I've got the little mark for that.
Wow. Well, I'm blown away. I hope all of our listeners are as well. And yeah, we've got to do some more trips. So I'll be seeing you probably another 3 more days, probably 3 or 4 more days.
Okay. And then I've got some inkling, I don't know why, but I've got some inkling to show this mark here, which is by this mark we shall win. And that's the mark of the bodyguard of the King of Portugal, the close bodyguard, which is Q.
Which is cute.
Which is Port of the Grail, which is the Grail lineage.
Oh, I love it. This is exciting. It's exciting times, isn't it?
I'm trying to look like the Green Man here, but I need some wax. Osiris, the Green Man, you know.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, you're getting there.
Good.
Getting there. Okay. So we'll see you soon.
Thanks for your support.
Oh, thank you for David's input as well. That was awesome.
Yeah. Thanks, King David.
Yeah. Okay. See you. Bye. Ciao.